What is going on, Homemade Nation? How the heck are you? So good to see so many of you. I love Tuesdays because we're back in the kitchen. We get to give you virtual smooches and hugs and all the stuff in the world. How is life? Tell us in the chat. Where are you coming in from? If this is your first class, we want to know it. Say first class, we want to celebrate you. If this is your billionth class, we want to celebrate you. We're just so excited to bring people together in the kitchen around good food, no matter where you are in the world. But today, it is a Tuesday, and we have such a doozy for you today. This is so good, so delicious, so healthy. It's going to kind of bend the way that you think about cooking. So I'm really excited about today's class. If we have not met yet, I am Joel Gammon. I'm the head chef and founder here at Homemade, and I'm going to be your instructor today. Today we are making the most stunning island-style snapper. We're doing it with chimichurri, with a pineapple slaw, and it's all in partnership with our good buddies, our amazing buddies, our heritage buddies over at Fulton Fish Market. These guys have been around for over 200 years. To put it bluntly, if you want fish, I don't care where you are in the world right now watching this, you want to go through Fulton Fish Market. They send you, this is just an example of their box right here, the freshest, most curated, stunning fish in the world. When you go to the grocery store, it's a different story. You don't know where that fish has been. You don't know who's carrying, how long it's been out. With Fulton, this is the company that restaurants trust. They have hand-picked these different pieces of fish, all different types. They have incredible bundles and deals, but more than anything, incredible quality. That's why we love them. We're going to talk about them today. But the idea about today is that you can always be interactive with us here at Homemade. So you can raise your hand and talk to me only if I can see you. So I can see a number of you, about 20 of you, but I want to see more. So if you are willing and able, even if you are not cooking along, show me your beautiful face. I see Miriam, I see Lena, I see so many good people. Thank you. Turn on that camera. Yes! I love it! Makes my day. Makes my day, okay? That is sunshine for me. But if that's not your thing, and I get it, I've got 2 kids under 4. My kitchen is a disaster zone. And sometimes you don't want to share that with thousands of people. I get it. We have Chef Kat in the chat. She's incredible.
Hello.
Kat, what's up?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Kat grew up on Hawaii.
I did.
Grew up on Hawaii, grew up in Hawaii. I think grew up in Hawaii.
I was born and raised in Hawaii, yeah.
So you know a thing or two about fresh fish.
I do, yes.
Especially whole fish and snapper.
Yeah.
You definitely grew up with snapper, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I love it.
It was always like something that we ate at the New Year's. It was just a whole like baked fish.
See, and that's what we're celebrating today. You guys, first of all, I live in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle. I live on the water, and we get so much beautiful fish here, but we don't have snapper. And we live in a day and age where you can literally get the freshest fish sent to you so quickly where it still upholds its quality. And that is what Fulton Fish Market is all about. So we're going to talk about when you're looking for fish, what to look for, but we're also going to just celebrate whole fish cookery. If you know me, I hate wasting. I hate it. And when I see a fillet in the grocery store, I wonder, where's the other 95% of that bad boy fish? Where is that? Where are the bones? Where are the cheeks? Where's the tail? All that is delicious cooking, and we want to celebrate that. So let's dive in, shall we? Let's start with talking about whole fish. All right, I'm going to hold this up for you guys. Look at this. Look at this right now. Unbelievable how beautiful this is. This literally just arrived. It smells perfect. That is the very first thing you want to look for when you're cooking a whole piece of fish. You want to smell it. You want to pick it up literally and smell it. You see people doing these in the market, right? Whether it's chefs, whatever it is, grocers, they're smelling it, and it should smell sweet. It should have no fishy smell. It should smell, everyone says like the ocean. I don't really think it smells like the ocean. It should smell neutral and nice, really nice and pleasing. The next thing to look for when you're buying whole fish is you want to look for the eye. All right, the eye is very telling. You want a clear eye, clear eye. So, Luke, let's go over here, maybe do the side view so everyone can see. But you guys can see, side view here, bud. There you go. How clear the eye is. I'm going to try and get even closer of this fish. It would be cloudy if it wasn't fresh. So I look at both eyes. Both are clear as day. Again, this is coming from Fulton Fish Market in New York. I live in Seattle, and I have a perfect fish. The last test for fresh fish is you want to pull back the gills here, right, the little cheeks, and you want to look inside, and you want to look for a really nice pink. Okay, see how bright pink and red that is? That is gorgeous. That is what you're looking for. So there's 3 pieces to repeat. 1, super clean smell. 2, very clear eyes. And 3, a bright red, kind of rosy-ish pink gills. That is what they're looking for, all right? When I studied in Italy, when we go out to dinner, I never got a fillet of fish, ever. In Italy, they believe you have to serve the fish whole because it is the true sign of freshness. It means that the chef and the restaurant knows what they're doing. So if you go anywhere in Europe, I mean Portugal, Greece, it is whole fish all the way. It's really America where we've been doing fillets. And nothing against fillets, really, there's not. And if you like fillets, Fulton Fish Market has that for you too. But there's something gorgeous about whole fish cookery, not just the waste-freeness of it, the flavor. The bones keep it so moist, so tender. And we're going to demonstrate that today. So here we go. Let's get cracking. First step, this is kind of a Caribbean-style fish. So we're going to make kind of a Caribbean-style rub to go on this fish. So I've got some spices here. I've got, oh my gosh, should we name the spice game? Let's do it. Salt and pepper, we all know. Brown sugar, but I've got 4 spices. Let's see if you guys can nail it. In order, put it in the chat. What do you think that is? What do you think that is? Number 2, number 3, and number 4. I'll give you time to do it. While you're doing that, I'm going to dump this all in a bowl. And I'm going to kind of mix this around with my fingers. All right, and kind of make my quick little spice mixture. So we have salt, pepper, brown sugar, and then mystery 4 spices. What are people saying, Kat?
We've got a paprika in the chat.
Yeah, there's a little smoked paprika situation. What else?
That's it so far.
Nothing else? You guys, we've got some garlic.
Coriander.
Yep, coriander. Garlic.
Cumin, paprika, garlic.
Nailed it. Yep, cumin, exactly. So we have this spice mix. This is amazing. We're going to use the majority of it for the fish, but I do want to save about a tablespoon. And I'm just going to like put this into this mixer right here. We'll come back to this, but I'm saving a tablespoon. The rest is for the fish. In Caribbean cooking, I just learned this today, they really don't want to waste anything. And so what you'll find is that they'll use ingredients from certain parts of the recipe in other parts of the recipe that you wouldn't normally find it. So you wouldn't normally find a spice mix with, paprika and cumin and coriander in a chimichurri, but that's what they do. That makes sense. You have the spice mix going, flavor the chimichurri that let these 2 dishes kind of tie together. I love that. All right, next up, we got to get some things ready to stuff inside the fish. Cooking with whole fish, you have this opportunity because it's kind of like this open book where you can just inject more flavor into the fish, whether it's ginger and you're doing something kind of Chinese or Japanese, whether it's something spicy like harissa and you're going to Morocco. You have an opportunity with whole fish to give it some more punch, some more love. So we're going to do the exact same thing today. So one of the coolest things about Fulton Fish Market is it sends you the fish gutted. So none of the guts, you don't have to worry about all that. It just comes clean and gutted like this. So you just open it up, it's good to go. So I'm going to move this to the side for real quick, and I'm just going to cut up a lemon, skin on, everything like that. into little wedges. I've got some scallions. One trick I like to do with the scallions before I stuff it, you do not have to get rid of the little roots. Those are really flavorful. Just take your knife and smash it. This just kind of opens them up and bruises them. And then I've got some cilantro, too. So I'm going to do the same thing. You could throw some garlic in here, but I think this is plenty. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fish. I'll move all this to the side. And I want to make sure you guys can really see this. So Luke, yeah, it's beautiful, Luke. All right. So it's also descaled. What that means is there's always a lot of scales on fish. Fulton will expertly remove those scales. So don't feel like you have to do anything crazy at home. You take it out of the package. I like to take a paper towel to it just to get any excess moisture, and then you're ready to cook. So what I do now is I'm going to score it. I like a boning knife for this because it's bendy and thin, but I kind of pinch the flesh, and I start to kind of create little slits, not all the way through the fish, just breaking the surface so I can get more flavor in. Really, really simple. Let's flip it and do it on the other side. All right, so I pinch. I'm kind of at a little bit of an angle. And I just score it. And when you bring this whole fish to the table and those scores kind of open up, dude, it is the best. People lose it. It is so good. All right, so then this is a great time to season it. So grab all that spice mixture over the top, rub it into those little slits that you just opened up, get it inside the fish cavity, all over. We're going to do a little bit of olive oil too, just so it sticks a little bit nicer. Oh, this looks so good. How are we doing out there? Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Oh my gosh, I want to eat this right now. Kat, what are we thinking?
We're thinking we had a troll.
Yeah, we had a little situation in the chat, but
Oh,
it's all
fun.
taken care of now.
This is what happens when homemade, guys, last year we had 1.5 million people take cooking classes with us, and every once in a while you get a weirdo. That's okay. That's life. All right, any questions about the fish? No?
Mostly just about the scales, and we do have a hand raised from Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy,
so I'm gonna
bring
go
it.
ahead and ask to unmute.
Hi, Chef Joe.
Hi.
Yes, I was wondering, because you're putting the spice on, would it have been better to put the oil on, shove spice in the slits, and then put the rest of the spice on top of the oil?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I probably would have started with the oil. Totally. But either way, totally works. I mean, you can see it's totally sticking. So as long as you just add a little bit of oil as glue. Yeah.
Do it that way.
Totally does not matter.
Does it have scales on it?
0 scales. Yep. So Fulton will remove all that for you.
Oh, okay, they were removed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And a lot of the times when you go to like a fish market or you go to the grocery store, they don't remove them for you. So it's really nice that Fulton goes the extra mile and does that. All right.
We do have one more question.
Oh, yeah.
From Marcia, sorry.
Marcia.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask to unmute.
Hi.
You're gonna have to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
I tried before. I could now.
It's always funky.
Yeah. Could you just repeat the ingredients in the spice rub? I didn't get all of them.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Cumin, coriander. These are all dried. Cumin, coriander, garlic, dried garlic. Okay. Salt, pepper, and paprika. And we have all the amounts in the recipe at homemadecooking.com for free. So you guys can check it out there. It's about equal parts of everything. A little bit more salt than anything. Oh, and brown sugar. Forgot brown sugar. The brown sugar is so nice. And in Caribbean cooking, it counterbalances a lot of the heat, which is really good, but it also helps caramelize the fish, which is awesome. All right, so check it out, guys. So the fish is, look how beautiful it already looks. This is the thing about whole fish that I'm obsessed with. And I'm just going to open up the cavity and just stuff it to the gills, pun intended, with this lemon scallion mixture. Look at that. That looks killer. It's okay if it's pooling out. We're not going to eat this. This is just going to help flavor things. Cool? So fish, I'm just going to push to the side. And then this is a really cool technique. If you don't have a rack or something to kind of elevate the fish, you want to try and get the fish up. So we're going to use a pepper to kind of act like a rack, right? You can add asparagus to the bottom, leeks, carrots, anything that kind of brings the fish up, because if you don't, when you roast a whole fish, there's so much moisture because of the bones and the tail and the meat that it kind of sits in a pool of water. And that's fine, it will steam, it just won't get crispy. So this is a really good way to get it crispy. So we take a pepper, and I just slice rounds. Leave the seeds in, no worries. Just slice these cute little rounds. Nothing crazy, right? And then take these and just kind of scatter them over the top of your tray. Adds a lot of color to this too. I really like that. And then what you do is you just pick up this stunning snapper. You place it right on top. I mean, hello! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do I have to cook this right now, or can I put it in the fridge? Discuss. Let me know. What do you think?
We do have a little question from Kara here.
Question for what?
From Kara.
Oh, okay. Bring it.
So go ahead to ask to unmute. There we go.
Okay, I feel, Joel, like you just answered my question.
Okay.
But do you have to be worried about the scales? Because the way you were cutting into the fish, like, do you have to be worried about the scales getting into the fish? And I think you said that Fulton cleans it for you.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal, guys, and I'm so glad everyone's asking about scales, because I think when we see whole fish, we think, oh my gosh, so much could go wrong. This is weird. So here's the deal. Most fish have scales. The ways to remove scales, you can take a spoon, it takes forever, or they make a little scaler, kind of like handheld tool, and you can do that over the sink. It gets messy, it gets everywhere. You're gonna find scales in your socks. It's true, okay? Fulton does it all. So it's completely descaled. You will not find a single scale. They expertly do it, so you don't have to worry about that at all. So when I'm cutting into this, there are no scales to deal with. Good question, Kara. All right.
Great. And then I have one.
Oh, yeah, please.
We're going to ask. This recipe that you're making, like that whole seasoning situation, can you use this on another type of fish?
Oh, heck yeah. Whenever I make a spice mixture like we just did, I actually make like 4, 5, or even 10 times the recipe. So I have a big bowl of it. You can put that in a jar and close it and use that on fish later on, shrimp, salmon. This particular mixture is really good for fish. It's light, it's not overly seasoned. It won't really hold up to a chicken or a beef. So I would stick to the seafood where it's light and you can really let it shine. Great question. I love it. And you can give that away as a present too, which is always good. All right, so check it out one more time. I'll do a little side view here so everyone can see. So this is what it looks like. The reality is you can absolutely let this hang out in your fridge. It's only going to get better as it sits. But, and there's a big but here, there's no citrus on here. Like, we didn't squeeze lemon. There's no vinegar. So it won't cook. But a lot of marinades, a lot of mixtures ask for you to squeeze lemon over a whole fish, which is beautiful. It just means you have to cook it right away. Otherwise, the lemon starts to kind of cook the fish, like ceviche, and it just becomes kind of a weird texture when you roast it later. So as long as in the rub or in the marinade there is nothing acidic, like citrus juice or vinegar, you're golden. And in this case, we don't. So you could let this sit for a couple hours in the fridge, but we're going to pop this into a 425-degree oven for about 15 or 20 minutes. All right, in we go. That is so good. Now, by the way, you do not need to use an oven. You can absolutely grill that fish or smoke it. So delicious. It will take about half the time to cook. So if you do it over some nice hot charcoals, I would say it would be about 5 minutes on each side. But one of the biggest plus sides of cooking whole fish is that when you cook on high heat, whether it's in the oven or on the grill, is that those bones, just like meat, those bones keep it really juicy. So you guys know it's very easy to dry out a fish fillet. That's because there's no bones, there's no fat, there's no skeletal structure attached. But when you have a whole fish, it really, really retains that moisture and self-bastes. So there's nothing quite like it. Talk to any chef worth their weight. We will always choose a whole fish over a fillet. Always. It's like choosing, a whole chicken over, a chicken breast, right? Chicken breast you can dry out so easily, but when you roast a chicken, is there anything more juicy in the world? Same thing with fish. Same exact thing. Before I dive into this pineapple, which is so sweet, and I'll tell you how you know it's sweet, I want to talk about something else that's really sweet, which is Fulton and their deals, which are so special. If you've never used Fulton before, this is no joke. Write this down, grab a pen. I will pause. Go grab a utensil to write this down. If you have never used Fulton before, you are a new customer. They will give you $50. $50 off your first order. I don't know. I think that Snapper is probably around that. That's like free dinner. Use that. $50 off your first order with Fulton Fish Market if you have not ever ordered. If you have ordered, if you're an existing customer, because we've done a couple classes with them before, they have an incredible rewards program, and they will give you 1,000 points. So that's credit towards future orders. You can get that through referrals. They're amazing. Super, super. They want more people to cook with fresh fish. So they're literally willing to pay you to do it. Take advantage. Done. All right. We're going to make a chimichurri. This chimichurri has a surprise ingredient. Pineapple. Crazy. Weird. Very delicious. How do you know when pineapple is fresh? I feel like that is the lesson of the day. How do you know when these things are fresh? Well, let's go to a close-up cam here, Luke. So when you turn the pineapple down, you can look inside, and if you can just reach for the innermost leaf and pluck that out easily, it is very fresh. If it doesn't come out and it's stuck inside the pineapple, it still needs time to ripen. So you'll see me at the grocery store. I am the weirdo, okay, that is holding pineapples on their sides, plucking them out. My wife walks right by me, pretends like she has no idea who I am. I get it, but I want a juicy pineapple, okay? So that's how you tell if it's juicy. The right way to break down a pineapple couldn't be more easy, and I think there's a million tutorials and stuff on YouTube. Trust me, this is the way to do it, all right? First, take off the top. All right, the top, it's beautiful. We don't need it. Take off the bottom. I always say this in class, but whenever you have something that rolls, you always want to square it off, so that way it stands up nice and stable. All right, so we've got pineapple top and bottom, and then you just grab your knife and you kind of just carve around the pineapple, getting rid of all these little eyes, which are bitter, not tasty. So we're just kind of cutting the outside off. It's kind of following the shape of the pineapple. These rinds soak in vodka for 2 weeks in a big jar. Make pineapple vodka or rum. You can do the same thing with rum or brandy, and infuse your own alcohol. Incredible Mai Tais, incredible little tiki drinks. Do not throw away your pineapple skins. You can also juice these and use the pineapple juice for so many different reasons, whether it's a marinade or a dressing or a sauce. So these are absolutely delicious. We'll put these to the side for today. So we're left with a very naked pineapple. And inside the pineapple is the core. We've all had pineapple before, I hope. So we just want to get rid of the core because that's very fibrous and just tough to chew. So I cut it down the middle, cut it again. So there's 4 little quarters here. Grab one, sit it flat, sneak your knife in, and we'll kind of go to a side view here. So yeah, there you go. And you just want to cut that core out. What do you think I'm going to say about the cores? Don't you dare throw those away. Same thing. You can infuse them. You can actually cook them really slowly in the oven, like roast them. They get really soft and edible.
Hey,
But
Chef,
for today,
we have a question from Nancy here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask to unmute.
of course, let's do it.
Okay, this is weird since you're doing fish. With the pineapple, would you take the rind and wash it before you put it in vodka? I mean, would you do any other prep, cut it into tinier strips? And then how do you sieve it or strain it?
Yeah,
Into the
great question. So I think whenever I buy fresh fruit, unless it's like a banana or it has a peel on the outside that I'm not going to eat, I give it a quick wash. So yes, I would run it under water just in case there's a little debris or whatever. As far as straining it out, it sits in the jar. So imagine a big jar, kind of like this, right? And imagine the peel, the rinds being in there with it sitting in vodka. I would take this jar, dump it through a fine sieve. So you have this yellow, beautiful vodka or rum or whatever you infused. And then I would use that in my cocktail. So I wouldn't let it sit in there. I would just strain it, and then you have this beautifully infused pineapple spirit.
would that last as long as, most alcohol never goes bad?
Yeah, that will last as long as your lifetime. That's not going to go bad.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that's not going to go bad. Absolutely. No, it's suspended in alcohol. You'll be good to go.
I love it when you give us these tips on how to use our leftovers.
That's my job. That's my job. And I love when you ask those great questions. So thank you. Thank you. All right. You guys, onward to this chimichurri. We're going to grab just half of one of these little lobes of pineapple, and I'm going to chop it up. Whenever I use a machine, a blender, or a food processor, something like this, I try and chop it up just so it helps the blades. Sometimes if you just put the whole thing in there, it just doesn't blend nicely. So I've got a little bit of pineapple. I'm going to add about half a jalapeno. Good tip is you could just cut around the seeds and the actual pith itself, so you just have a nice clean little side of it. So I'm going to pop that in there. I have some scallions, the tops of those scallions that I stuffed inside the fish, so I'm going to give those a rough chop. All right, I've got a ton of cilantro. I'm using the stems, everything. No need to pick it. They're really sweet, the stems, and delicious. And I've got some garlic. Finally, a little bit more lemon. I'm going to save half for later, half for now. In we go. Beautiful. I need some salt. So good. You guys, on my table, I think I've said this before, but growing up in Seattle, my mom always had fish on the table. And then I went to school in Connecticut for college, and I realized a lot of people just don't eat fish that often. And, listen, I grew up at a different time when we didn't have what Fulton Fish Market was around, but they weren't shipping fish across the country, perfect quality. But I just realized most people don't eat enough fish. It's incredibly sustainable to eat fish, specifically, and there's right ones, and there's so much information on Fulton Fish Market on what is sustainable, what are good choices, and all that good stuff. It's also extremely healthy. Fish is so lean. It's so good for you, packed full of protein. So we got to eat more fish. If anything comes from this lesson, it's not about whole fish. I love whole fish. I want you to cook and eat whole fish, but I want more fish in general on the menu. All right, let's blitz this up. You want to take it pretty fine because there's that pineapple in there. All right? And that pineapple needs to get broken down. This looks great. I'm going to let it go for about another 30 seconds. I'm going to grab a little spatula. Off we go. It smells ridiculous. Let's see what this looks like, Luke. Woo! I can smell the jalapeno. I can smell our beautiful, gorgeous pineapple. So I'm going to take the lid out, or the blade, and I'm just going to grab this mixture. I'm going to go right back into my spice bowl. Look how beautiful this looks. This is so different. This is going to be just a little condiment that goes on top of the fish. And I know what you guys are probably thinking, which is like, you know, what if I have way too much of this chimichurri? Because you're going to see this is going to make a decent amount. What do you do with it? And I always say this with pesto or romesco or any of these sauces that are kind of blended up. Grab a little ice cube tray and freeze little cubes of these. And just grab a cube when you need something. You know, toss this in a pasta while it's still hot. Let that cube just melt down. It's beautiful. You know, top that soup with a little cube of chimichurri, and it will melt into the soup. It will be beautiful. Or eggs. So it's always nice to have a little frozen chimichurri or pesto or something hanging out. All right, so check it out. What we are going to do now is add some oil to this, some olive oil. We're going to mix it in versus blend it in because we don't want the blade to heat up the oil and cook the herbs. This is a nice trick. You just want to mix it in. It keeps the chimichurri really light, super delicate. And with that fish, with the snapper, it's all about the fish. So we really want just the salsa just to be kind of a compliment. All right, let's try this. Perfect. 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 Not too spicy. And what counterbalances the spice is the pineapple. Honestly, it just kind of mellows it out. You get that coriander and that paprika and all that spice mixture we first made when we rubbed on the fish. Remember we added a tablespoon into this so you get those? It's super bright because of the lemon. To die for. That's great. All right. Chimichurri is hanging out. The longer that sits and does its thing, the happier that's going to be. Any questions on that one, guys? Nada? Kat?
I'm taking a look right now. Oh, just like you can also do this in a blender, right?
Totally do it in a blender. I prefer the food processor because the blender can get really hot. Because those blades, man, they make blenders now that are like jet engines. Those blades move fast. But totally up to you. Yes,
And
it would just pulverize it.
If you don't like cilantro, could you say something like parsley?
Yeah,
instead?
anything soft. Parsley, basil, mint, all those would be beautiful. Yeah, great call. Tarragon. I'm just looking at our fish, which smells intoxicating. Like it smells so good. Oh, just want to give it a little peek. I have to. It looks so good. All right. So the whole fish is roasting. Chimichurri is hanging out. Again, I want to call out, we're going to put the link to Fulton Fish Market. Like I said, over 200-year-old company. This is where, back in the day, in New York, chefs, restaurateurs would go to this market, it's still around, and select their seafood with the fishmongers from the fish market. Fast forward 200 years, present day, you don't have to go to New York. You don't have to be a restaurateur. You can be someone like me who's just at home, who loves cooking, and you can have them hand curate this fish for you and give it to you. Again, if you're a new customer, $50 towards your first order. If you're a returning customer, 1,000 points. The reward program is killer. Okay. We're going to make a slaw that kind of goes on top of this. This whole meal is so good. If you're wondering if you want like a carb with this or like a starchy side, I might make like a coconut rice or something like that, which I think would be really nice and kind of plays off the fruit that's in this dish. But honestly, I think like this whole thing is just beautiful as is. So for this slaw, there's three ingredients to the dressing, and I love a quick dressing. It's kind of a Vietnamese play, but we've got fish sauce, we've got brown sugar, and we've got a lime. And so I'm just going to add the brown sugar into a bowl, fish sauce over the top. And fish sauce, for those of you guys who don't know, it is little baby fish that's been dried and fermented and then pressed. And it smells like that. Okay? It smells like a sock. A bad gym sock. It really does. But Like so many things in cooking. Think about blue cheese, right? Anchovies. Like when you use it right, like Caesar salad, go try and have a Caesar salad without an anchovy in it. It tastes flat. But when you grind that anchovy into that egg yolk, into that oil, into that mustard, into all that garlic, it works. Same thing with fish sauce. It's funky. It's got a lot of flavor. It's salty. It's fermented, right? But you add a little sugar, a little lime juice. You could drizzle that on the sidewalk and I will lick it off. It is delicious. Okay? Do not, just because it smells weird on its own, do not overlook it. It is a secret ingredient that we love as chefs. All right, I'm going to add a little lime to this. A little bit of that lemon, too. I saved it. I might as well use it. And we're just making like the easiest little dressing. You could add just a Scotia oil into this. We're making like a little vinaigrette. All right. Doesn't need any salt. Trust me. Fish sauce, plenty salty. I went to Vietnam. Woo! Woo! I need some lime for me. Really good, though. Went to Vietnam for my honeymoon. I don't know how I got that approved by my wife. I really wanted to go and just eat at all the street stalls and talk about whole fish. Oh, my gosh. You'll just be on the streets of Hanoi or these beautiful little seaside towns, and they'll just have like a little charcoal grill happening with whole fish, and they're just flipping it and fanning it. It's so delicious. You can smell it a mile away. And I don't know how we went to this island called Phu Quoc, and it's about an hour and a half flight from Ho Chi Minh. And we get to this little island. We rent a motorcycle because I did that before kids. Can't believe I'm saying that out loud. And we ended up just going to this little seaside village, and all they had was just grilled fish, lime, fish sauce, and tons of black pepper. They grow black pepper on this island like crazy. And my wife and I just sat there, and we both decided, like, it just doesn't get better than this. Like, you can go to the fanciest restaurant, you can go anywhere you want, but like fresh whole fish out of the ocean, tossed in a little bit of seasoning. It's the best. It really is the best. All right. We have our dressing done. Now we just got to make this really quick, beautiful slaw. And I love this slaw on burgers. I love this slaw. Literally, when you think about summer coming up, it's delicious. What I do is I start with a Napa cabbage. Look for one that's kind of tight. And if you have little leaves that are just naturally falling off, click those off. You can just throw those in the garden. They're just a little woody and flimsy. I want the tight part of it. That's the sweet part of the cabbage. Put it on its side and just shave a good, I don't know, cup or two of this cabbage. You could totally just put this in the bowl like this, but I like to give it one chop through so it's easier to eat. All right, that's in. Any cabbage will work, by the way. Red cabbage would be beautiful in this. Really beautiful. All right, I got just a whole mess of scallions, like every scallion in the world. I've got 4 or 5 here, and I'm just going to chop up the tops, the bottoms. I love scallion. It's, you know, it's one of those flavors that's just like, it's not too oniony, so you get a little bit of that onion vibe, and honestly, onions and my stomach, they don't love each other. So when I want that onion touch without it being overkill, I go scallions. Oh, it's great. All right, so scallions are going to go in. Super healthy. Let's grab one of these pineapple edges, and I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise, and I'm just going to shave it really into nice thin little shards. You don't want to add too much pineapple here. A lot of us will because we love pineapple. We have it. The pineapple is to complement everything else happening. And too much of it will just overtake the story. It's just a little shaved pineapple is all you need. How rustic and beautiful that looks. That's killer. All right, this goes in. By the way, mint would be really good in this, or basil like we were talking about before. Amazing. I want a little bit more heat, so I'm going to go with another little side of that chili. Maybe 2 sides of it. I'm in a spicy mood. How we doing, Kat? Any questions we got to address?
Scallions are the same thing as green onions?
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And by the way, if you don't have jalapeno, like a fresh chili like this, just use like chili flakes and give it a pinch or 2. But I like the fresh fruitiness of a nice chili. All right, that's going in.
And how much would you say is a skosh if we had to give it a measurement?
Of chili?
Of oil or whatever.
Of all Joel measurements?
A skosh.
Yeah, if you are a big measurer at home, which, let's be real, my wife, big measurer, will never look at a recipe and just wing it. Me, I don't even look at recipes. I look at the pictures and then I just go after it. So if you're not like me and you want the exact measurements, again, go to homemadecooking.com and check it out. And by the way, we don't often say this because we love our recipes, but Fulton Fish Market on their website, again, we're going to put the link here, incredible recipe library, like beautiful recipes. So if you want some inspiration on kind of seafood and what to put on the table in terms of that, bypass homemade cooking, go check out our buddies over at Fulton. It's amazing. All right, I'm going to toss this through. I'm getting that dressing that's kind of underneath all the way to the top. It looks really good. You can let this sit for a couple of hours, too. It's really nice for a picnic or something like that because the cabbage kind of holds up. Oh, my gosh. This is so fun, so vibrant. I love this type of cooking. Especially if you're kind of watching what you eat. Maybe you're not looking for all the starch in the world. You're just looking for something really filling and delicious. This is the way to go. Let's try it. Bright, funky, with that fish sauce. Really good. All right. Ooh, that is special. That's a good slaw. You know what would be good in that? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm going like crazy now because this would not normally be Caribbean style. A little sesame oil. I think it'd be nice. So let's just recap what's going on here because we got a lot going on. Our fish is in the oven. It's just about ready to come out. I think we're at the perfect time here. I can smell it. The whole kitchen is perfuming with the sweet smell of fresh whole fish. We've got this chimichurri vibe. Look at this. Stunning, beautiful chimichurri. We show this real quick, Luke. Just bright green. Slather that on anything. We've got this gorgeous light, kind of marinating as we speak. Napa cabbage slaw with pineapple, fish sauce, all the goodies. Let's get to the main course, shall we?
We have a quick question from Lena first.
Please.
Go ahead.
Joel,
Yes.
bell pepper in, ready to go, and cilantro.
What's that, Lena? I'm sorry?
The bell pepper and cilantro. Did you put it in?
I'm catching you not following the recipe. The bell pepper's also in this salad.
Oh, no way. Oh, I blew it. I used the whole pepper. Sorry, you were cutting out a little bit, Lena, and Christina was telling me. No, it's my fault. So, totally, you can absolutely cut up some of the pepper in the slaw. That is a Joel Gamron catch. Nice catch. But, I mean, beautiful with, beautiful without. I actually think it would be nicer with. It would add more sweetness and a little bit of color. So, might be, but still delicious.
How about the cilantro too?
Cilantro I forgot too? Well, that I can fix. And we want a little bit for the fish too, but I've got a little bit of cilantro here, so I'll chop that up. Thank you, Lena. Always keeping me honest. Guys, if you're new to Homemade, you will get to know Lena. She's an extension of us. She's like a sous chef out there. We love her. She always makes sure that I always go fast. I get excited. And then you have like our buddies like Lena, Miriam. Who else is out there that always helps us out? There's so many of you guys that we just love. Okay. Let's get to the fish, shall we? Oh, you guys, get ready. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Hold on. I'm going to need 2 towels for this. Come to Papa. Come to Papa. Wow. Wow. Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Look at that. Perfectly golden brown. You can see the eye has kind of turned translucent. That means it is cooked. You can see juices just flowing to the bottom of the tray. Those juices are what we did not want the fish to sit in. And you can see the peppers got a little bit of char. That's cool. You can eat the peppers. You don't have to. They served their purpose. They kept this fish elevated. So we're grateful to those peppers. But this fish is stunning. Can we get a little side shot of this real quick, Luke? Look at that. And you can smell all the ingredients we stuffed inside the fish. The cilantro, the scallions, the lemon. Amazing. All right. Wait till you see this thing plated up. So for the slaw, I'm just going to grab a bowl. I'm just going to go nice in. Everyone in the pool. I like a nice white bowl for a slaw. Just a nice big bowl. And I also like to have a lot of white space around it, not just pile it so high. It just looks beautiful and it just looks presentable. So slaw is in a nice little fluted bowl like that. I love it. For the fish, here we go, guys. Main course. And again, you're just not going to find snapper this fresh unless you go through our buddies at Fulton. I mean, this is such a special treat. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of this chimichurri and just kind of go on the bottom of this big platter here. I'm loving this blue. It's kind of reminding me of the ocean. And then I'm just going to get under that fish. I love, love, love these fish spatulas. They're bendy like this, right? And they're really delicate with the fish. So I like to kind of make sure I get really underneath of it because you don't want to tear that skin. You worked really hard to keep it super crispy. And just carefully transfer it. Oh, we will definitely eat those peppers, don't you worry. Look at that. Amazing. And then you know what's coming up next. Grab a little bit more of that chimichurri and just go to town. Holy cannoli. No need to take out what you stuffed the fish with. That is totally good just to leave. Everyone who's eating the fish will smell it as it kind of comes to them. Grab a little bit of that cilantro. Tear that over the top. You can tuck in a couple of these peppers. Maybe the ones that didn't get as much char. Just to give a little bit of color. Just a reminder of how beautiful this fish is. I mean, rare does you get something this incredibly delicious. And you guys, let's be real. Let's check the time here. I mean, I've been yapping about how much I love whole fish in Fulton for the past 45 minutes. I could probably bust this thing out in 35 minutes. Let's be real. You bring this to the table with some coconut rice? Your buddies, your friends, your family? This is such a treat. It's such an easy win, which is just why I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to
Chef,
spoon.
do you see Lena real quick?
Let me see Lena. I don't see Lena.
Do you see that fish?
Oh! Lena Tucker! Guys, if you can go to Gallery View and check out Lena, she just crushed it. I don't have a little plate. Can you grab me a little plate? I want to just spoon one up, and I want to show you guys kind of how I would tear into this whole fish, because I think that's part of eating whole fish, and the allure of it, also the scariness of it is like, well, now what? How do you get that in my mouth? Thank you. Perfect plate. So here's how I might go to town on this. Grab a nice big pile of slaw. And then this plate I just stick in the middle of everyone, whoever's over, whoever's hanging out. And the first thing I like to do is grab a spoon and a knife. And I know you're wondering, like, spoon, that's kind of strange. The spoon doesn't tear into things. and the knife doesn't either. They're both kind of dull versus a sharp fork. So I kind of start at the spine, and I start to kind of run my knife across the spine, and you'll start to feel it, kind of where it is. Okay, and then you can just start to kind of peel off. Find one of those slits that you made with your original knife, and just grab your spoon and almost just like scoop the flesh right onto your plate, right next to that slaw. I'm telling you, there's just not fish this juicy unless you cook it on the bone. You can see it's completely cooked through, beautifully opaque. I wish that we had technology that could get you even closer, but yeah, let's try and do it, Luke. But you guys can see the juices are running into the chimichurri, making its own little pan juice in the bottom of the plate. Now I might go in there with a fork. Let's just get in. Crispy skin, stunning opaque flesh. Let's have a moment. Let's just have a moment together. That's a special bite. It's a really special bite. Whole fish cannot be compared to fillets. Love fillets. It's a Tuesday. I get it. Sometimes you just got to go to the store, grab a fillet, grill it. I get it, and that's beautiful. Do that. You can do that through Fulton. But when you cook a whole fish, it's a celebration. Not only of the fish itself, because you're using all of it, you're taking the most from it, right? The juices, everything that it has. But look at this. This feels like a feast. It feels so special, so different, and it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I could eat this for, I'm not kidding you, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. This is so light. It's so addicting. The skin is so perfect. And the seasoning, the brown sugar, the cumin, it's very subtle. You taste the snapper. When you go somewhere like Fulton, that's what you want. You want the fish. Everything else is about how do you make the fish brighter, how do you support the fish. But the fish is the main deal. And I think that's why in Europe, they serve it whole. And also in Asia, let's just be real, they'll serve it whole there too. It's because they want to celebrate the fish. They want to remind you it's not about the sauce, it's not about the sides, it's about the fish. And no one makes that more apparent than Fulton. Nobody. Look at that. One more little moment of love. Ah, amazing. You guys, last time I'm going to repeat it, but if you want to replicate this, if you want to start cooking whole fish, or if you just want to cook more fish in general, whether it's scallops or shrimps or beautiful pieces of salmon, halibut, cod, name it, go to Fulton Fish Market. We will put the link in the chat. Again, new customers, $50 off your first order, returning 1,000 points. So please, please support these guys. They're doing it right. They're curating it, and they're getting you fresh fish to your doorstep like no one else on earth. Worth it. Every bit of it. Any last questions, my dear? This is so healthy, too.
Mostly just everybody saying how absolutely amazing this fish looks. Oh my gosh.
I need a fish pun before we leave. Can someone give me a fish pun?
A fish pun?
Oh,
Would
God.
you say this class went swimmingly well?
Wow! Anyone else in the chat? Swimmingly well, I think, is going to have to take the cake. One more. The pineapple with that, by the way. Didn't mention it. Couldn't be more perfect. I wouldn't choose another fruit. Mango, maybe. Pineapple's beautiful. You guys, first, I want to thank our partners over at Fulton Fish Market. They make it available for all of us to be able to cook together, gather together, and talk about beautiful seafood. But more than anything, they arm us with seafood at our house. So we love you, Fulton. Thank you. I want to thank you guys who are either cooking along or hanging out with us in the kitchen. Coming up, we have strawberry mochi upside down cake. So we're going to Japan. Strawberries are in season. in certain places in the country. So time to get our strawberry on. Time to teach you a new cake. This one is mind-blowing. That's coming up this Thursday. Next week on Tuesday, smash burgers with zucchini fries. Smash burgers with zucchini fries. So forget potato fries. These are delicious, and this is a brand new technique of smash burger where you get really crispy edges. So if you want a new burger and a little bit of a healthy fry, you're going to definitely want to check this one out. As always, if you love what you see, we try and make this completely free for you guys. Not try, we do make this completely free for you guys. We would love some support if you are able and willing. You can check out our Patreon page. We'll add it in the chat. You'll also get it in the email. And new in the email is a little link where we'd love to hear feedback from you, how we can improve our classes. We're going to keep that in emails going forward. At any time, if you have ideas, if you have thoughts of how we can get better in the kitchen and make this experience more enjoyable for you guys, we want to hear it. But until then, eat some more seafood, order from Fulton, support our beautiful ocean and the bounty that comes from it, and cook whole fish. It's worth it. See ya. Bye, guys.